Hey folks, Tim Newman with Lite Studios bringing you another daily assignment. Today's assignment is for July 19th, 2019. The title of our assignment today is Flower Power. And no, this is not 70s throwback men and women in their hippie dress in front of their VW van. This is those lovely little delicate plants that you can find in your planters around your home and in local parks in every direction. Flowers almost always have built-in patterns and symmetry to them. Make them pop and maximize their colors in this smell good assignment. Let's take a look at some sample images. Here in this first image, we have taken care to expose the level of ambient light in the background to allow a little bit of those green stalks to show up behind this flower. And the flower itself, we're working at a really nice diagonal across the frame, not to mention that red and green make for outstanding complementary colors. You don't think Christmas was a marketing mistake, do you? All right, in our next flower image here, again, we are focusing on allowing a little bit of ambient light to fall into the background of the scene. We're making sure that we're using depth of field to make that foreground flower pop, and we're putting just enough light on that foreground flower to really make it show off in the image itself. Let's take a look at some of the elements of design that matter here. Patterns are super important here, and flowers offer them almost by nature. Did you get what I did there? Nature? Get it? Kill me. Okay, symmetry is another one that flowers offer. I mean, if you think about a flower, they're round and they radiate out from the center and they do symmetry like nobody's business. Last but not least, not only do flowers offer a lot of color, but think about the colors that lie in the background and how to line those flowers up so you can maximize the color set that's there. Let's take a look at a few more sample images. Here's a wonderful coneflower, which by the way happened to be growing right out at the end of my driveway. I love coneflowers. They are pattern and symmetry on steroids, waiting for you to shoot them. Get them early in the season, capture the wonderful vivid colors that are there, and they will provide you a fantastic flower image. Here you go. Here's a little guy that's just creeping out on this picture, and I do mean creeping. I didn't even notice him as I was setting up for my ambient light and making sure my flash was set correctly and composing this scene. It wasn't until later in Lightroom that I went, whoa, where'd this little dude come from? Cool, huh? All right, one more. Don't forget to zoom in on the flower and work the middle of the flower. There's some cool stuff going on in there. Why do you think bees are hanging out there? It's like the place to be in town. Well, it could be the pollen, but that's neither here nor there. I really love the stamens in this flower, and I really love the way that we've got the out of focus background light happening here, and I'm really fond of the way that the background is making the diagonal image and intersecting across the subject in the front of the frame. I think it's a pretty good shot. Hope you agree. All right, let's take a look at some of the rules of composition that matter to us here. Rule of thirds kind of goes without saying, and I think you probably noticed it in all the sample pictures that we provided. Don't forget to divide into those horizontal and vertical panels and put things at those intersecting points that qualify as points of interest. Geometric balance is kind of naturally woven in here if you think about flowers, but don't forget to look for that and figure out how to make that work between various elements of the flower itself and the background and foreground in the scene. Last but not least, we've mentioned color already, but think about the color schemes that are possible there. Your complementary colors, your analogous colors, your split complementaries, and your monochromatic scenes. Sometimes when you're shooting flowers this close and you're working in this quasi-macro mode, just a move of a few degrees up, down, left, or right can totally change the background color between the flower you're shooting. All right, one last slide. Here are some rules. The first 5 line items are the parameters that we want you to follow if you're exporting images for submission in the semi-monthly critique process. Last two items in that list there are an example of a file name for today's date and the naming standard that we follow. If this isn't clear to you, look at our Update 01 video. There's a link for that in the description as well. Last but not least is the upload URL. You've heard me get tongue-tied a few times during this presentation. Imagine trying to type all those characters out. We don't make you do that. It's down in the description below the video, which, by the way, this is only the 19th time we've reminded you, don't forget to click on that subscribe button that you find right below this video as well. All right, folks, we're out of here, but not without telling you that learning equals skills, practice equals mastery. We'll see you out there.